All right. I always introduce Talkin Ball with Pat Leonard as having a special guest, but that extremely applies today. We have future Pro Football Hall of Fame wide receiver Larry Fitzgerald on the program to talk NFL, to talk some ball. Larry, thank you so much for being here. Really appreciate it.
No, Pat, thank you for having me. How's your day?
Going well, going well. Very busy, a busy day, a busy season in New York and in the NFL. As always, here we have Dart playing. We have Neighbors out of the lineup, but a lot of hope in New York now about this team after getting their first win. And Larry, understand that you're here on behalf of DraftKings to discuss responsible gaming because it's more fun when it's for fun. As everybody places their wagers and roots for their teams this year, what is the reminder that you'd like to give us from DraftKings today?
Well, it's just about being responsible and making sure where everybody's playing within their means, and there's tools available for people who would like to utilize them. I think gambling in sports has really increased the viewership and made the games much more competitive for everybody involved, and overall, it's been really great for the growth of the game.
Absolutely. A great reminder for all of us. So I led off by saying future Hall of Famer, you come eligible this year. Of course, I don't have to tell everybody why, but I will anyway. 17,492 yards, 121 receiving touchdowns regular season, an all pro, a two-time second team all pro, Walter Payton Man of the Year, 11-time Pro Bowler, 2010s all decade team, 100th anniversary NFL all time team. So, Larry, I list all of that to say you've always been a tremendous talent, going back to your days at Pitt. But when during your career did you recognize first that you were putting yourself in this category and conversation?
I would probably say probably year 10. You think that are kind of on a certain trajectory. Obviously, like there's a lot goes into it. A lot of things that have to continue to go well, and you got to stay healthy. But I think that's probably the first time it started kind of creeping in my mind that I think I might have a chance. And I was so young too. I mean, I was in my 10th year and I was just 30 years old, and so I came in the league at 20 at a really young age, so it gave me kind of a head start on most of the guys who come into the league a little later.
Would it mean a lot to you to get in on your first try, or is getting in no matter when it happens?
I think just getting in is getting in. I mean, I'm not sure what the final number is, but it's got to be like low 300s, I would imagine, of overall people who have gotten in. And if you get in the first or second or the 10th or the 30th, you gotta go jacket, and you have a bus in Canton, and you get immortalized, and that's something that it just doesn't happen very often for players, and it's extremely difficult. And you think about the names, the Drew Breeses and the Frank Gores and the Bill Belichick's, and I can go on and down the line of people who have their name in this category, and it really just kind of makes the hair on your arm stand up when you think about it.
It really does, and you deserve it. So I look forward to that day coming soon. Given that I just walked out of MetLife Stadium last night covering the Giants' upset of the Chargers, but also tough to see Malik Nabers, a great young receiver, going down with a torn right ACL that was confirmed today. Now, this is not maybe the right person to ask this because you were extremely durable. I don't think you ever missed more than 3 games in a season. But I wanted to ask you, as a receiver who took care of your body, also, I'm sure played with a lot of people who had these kind of setbacks. How long can it take a receiver like Malik to get back to form? And how do you deal with a setback this big as a star player with so many expectations on them like Malik has?
Well, I mean, I think you just have to kind of take it, in stride. I mean, like, you think about as bad as an ACL is, you think about your owner, going through cancer. I mean, this is like you put it on the scales of things of relevance, of importance, right? And obviously, he's 22 years old. I mean, he's a baby. I mean, he's gonna heal fast, and ACLs with the advance of surgeries, guys are able to bounce back. So like, it would be a surprise to me if he would be ready for training camp to start off the season. It happened so early in the year, and And you see Jackson being able to perform the way he was able to perform yesterday. You see about Scatterboo, you see about that defense and the pass rushers they have, and you just get really excited about what the future of the Giants and what they're going to be able to accomplish over the next few years. And he's going to be a large piece of that. And so, like, I think you just got to put it in perspective. I mean, life happens to us all, man. It's tough, man. It really is, and it sucks. And obviously, you would never want that to happen to you. But once it does, you just have to figure out what is the best way for me to be able to get.
So shifting to the personnel side of the Nabers injury, Larry, right now the Giants, they put in the rookie quarterback. They have Darius Slayton at receiver, Wandale Robinson, Jalen Hyatt, a deep threat, former third-round pick that they will give more playing time to. When you look at their offense, though, especially to support a rookie QB, would you like to see them go poke around for another receiver on the trade market? Like, some names out there, Tyreek Hill, Jacoby Myers, Chris Olave, Jawan Jennings, Calvin Ridley, or because you said you kind of see where this is going as far as building blocks, would you rather see them kind of figure it out with what they have and build towards 2026?
From that perspective, do you see and look at the season as if this could be a playoff year? Like, you just have to be honest and realistic about how you assess it, right? And then you have to take in consideration, like, do I want to go out and get a bona fide, you know, a Calvin Ridley or Chris Olave, who may or may not fit with Malik Nabers when he comes back healthy, right? Like, you have to think about the dynamics, and then can you afford all of that in from a cap perspective? Because if Jackson continues to improve, you got a big number coming up in 4 years. You have Abdul Carter, and you have offensive linemen that need to be paid. I mean, so you have to just think about it. Is this going to be somebody's going to come in and help us compete to win a playoff spot right now? And that doesn't seem realistic, if I'm being honest with you. I don't know how you feel about that, Pat.
No, I agree with that. I think that's the team is not in a place where you would want to be giving up premier assets for a player thinking that was going to lift you over the hump. And then again, it's year 4 of this regime, Larry. So it kind of depends on, I guess, whether they can keep putting some results together to prove that the entire operation is on the right track. But no, I agree with the way you put that about the context and the perspective of where you are as an organization. One more thing about the Giants, just from the perspective of Russell Wilson getting benched, Jackson Dart goes in. You played with a lot of different quarterbacks in your career. You make those changes, but you still produce at a high level. How challenging is that as a receiver, going from one quarterback that you form chemistry with and get comfortable with, especially mid-season like this, to kind of snapping into a QB with a different skill set?
Well, I mean, I think you adjust. I mean, I think the biggest thing that I always try to do is to stay focused on the things that I can control. I can control the depth of my route. I can control making sure that my footwork is good at the top of the breaks, and I'm catching every ball that I have the opportunity. I'm blocking the people I need to be blocking. So when you turn that tape on, you say, we do have some things that we need to improve on, but that right there is one we can build around. Like, I feel like you want to have the mindset, I want to be a part of the solution as opposed to be a part of a problem. And I think when losing starts to set in, people will start to become very selfish, and like, you have to fight against those tendencies. And so, like, those are the things that I would say that I always thought about, just making sure that I was being dependable and accountable every single day in the way I approached it. I always just told that I control two things in my life. I control my attitude and I control my work ethic. And nobody anywhere can do anything about that. That's 100% up to me and how I approach my day. And I used to always just try to control those things.
Great life lesson, not just in football. Another young wide receiver playing for your former franchise, Marvin Harrison Jr. I'm excited to talk to you about this because I think everybody watched his primetime game recently against the Seahawks. He's an extremely talented player, finding his way, had 6 catches for 66 yards and a touchdown in this game. But it was a really up and down game for him. Like, there were 2 interceptions, one where he and Murray seemed like not on the same page, where his route stopped, Murray threw it, the safety steps in and gets it. And then another interception, he bobbles and the Seahawks grab. But then at the end of the game, he makes an incredible touchdown catch as the Cardinals are coming all the way back and challenging at the end. I'm just wondering where you see him, watching him closely, in his development as a player and what he can continue to do to keep ascending.
Yeah, what I saw on Thursday, I saw made me really excited about him because I think we've all seen people struggle from time to time, and they just continue to fester, and it goes downhill. He didn't allow that. He put his thumb in the hole, and clogged it, and said, "Look, this is enough. I'm gonna go out there and make some plays." And another thing that was really promising is Kyler didn't shy away from him. Kyler kept coming back to him. So to know that your quarterback still has confidence in you, even though things have not, gone the way you wanted on certain plays, you fight through them and you can continue to come back. And from everything I hear inside the locker room and organization, he's a tireless worker. He really wants to be great. He studies at it.
Mm.
It's very, very important. It's very, very important to him. And so, with that gene pool that he has, the work ethic, the size, the ability, like those things can help him overcome just a few of the mental lapses in terms of dropping the football. So I'm still bullish on him. I'm excited about him, and I really want to see him succeed.
No, that's great to hear. That was like a catch of the year candidate for the first 4 weeks of the season too. What a play. Shifting back to your career, Larry, one thing I think that always stood out to me, I mean, there's durability, there's consistency, that you had the numbers in the regular season, but your playoff numbers are ridiculous. I mean, 57 catches, 942 yards, 10 touchdowns in 9 games, including a 2008 run to the Super Bowl where you had 30 catches, 546 yards, and 7 touchdowns. What does it take to perform at that level when the lights are brightest on the big stage, Larry? How did you approach it? Did you rise to the moment? Did you try to just play to the same level you always did and block out the pressure? How did you harness it and create the results that you did on the field in those big games?
Well, I tried to just tell myself that it wasn't any different than any other game, right? Yes, there's more people watching, and the implications are larger and higher, but like I still need to go out and catch the ball. I still need to go run the routes. I still need to do the same thing that I've always done my entire life, and don't allow the moment to change that aspect of the game for you. And I was able to stay calm and just stay present and be in the moment. And I think that's something that I've always kind of um, prided myself on. Is just being consistent no matter what the moment. I would say I've been consistent in blowout losses. You go back and see me getting my butt whipped before. I'm still working and fighting just the same way I would if I had a 20-point lead. And so I think that mentality has served me well in big moments.
So in those moments, is your heart rate not up? Like, are you kind of steady in that? Like, you really don't feel it, or do you
No, I
feel
mean,
it and
I
you just
wish
kind of harness it?
I wish I'd have been able to like wear a whoop, back in the day, and you would have been able to see my heart rate. I bet you, like a fan watching the game of a fan of our team's heart rate would probably be higher than mine. Um, just because like I'm just supremely confident. I was supremely confident in my ability to execute. There was no like thoughts of failure or not being able to accomplish. Like those thoughts never crossed my mind.
That's incredible. Anyone who's ever played a sport for 5 seconds envies you. Super Bowl 43, the 64-yard touchdown catch from Kurt Warner down the stretch of that game. Can you describe the feeling of making that play that, almost won, should have won that game? And how often do you think about coming up clutch in that moment and really making a game-winning play in a Super Bowl, even though it ultimately didn't react that way?
Yeah, I don't think about it very often. Like, this is part of my past life. Worrying about it doesn't do anything for you at this point in your life. But I think you think more so about the journey that you were able to go on with the guys. Like you remember the games, wins and losses, but you remember the moments that kind of that sometimes didn't even have anything to do with the game. Seeing guys, having their children and having really cool things happen to them off the field, and seeing guys who were undrafted and turning to starters because of their work ethic, and like some of those stories and journeys that you share with your brothers is what really stands out.
That's awesome. One of your brothers or close friends is not on the Cardinals, a guy that very familiar and revered here in New York. I understand that you and Eli Manning have been pretty good friends throughout the years. And even going back to 2019, 2020, there were times that you and he got together in New Jersey, had some throwing sessions. How often do you guys still talk? Do you ever run some routes still and get a workout in with Eli? I mean, I know you guys are both very busy now in your post-career life.
Yeah, no running routes for us anymore, but I do see him probably 4 or 5 times a year, and love the family. From Cooper to Arch to Archie and Peyton. I mean, I love the family. I talk to them all the time. I talked to Eli yesterday, giving him a hard time about the Giants, and he told me to shut up. So, he's still doing great, and I love seeing him and talking to him.
You were giving him a hard time about 0-3 right before they went out for the win. Is that what that
Yeah,
was
yeah.
about?
He said you just need to worry about your Cardinals and your quarterback. We got something brewing over here. That's what he told me.
I love it. I love it. Still trash
Yeah.
talking. And then the
Oh
team
yeah.
backs him up.
Yeah. No, Eli has never been shy about talking trash, man. He's always about that.
That's right. Now everyone's starting to get to see his personality more and more out there. Larry, this has
Sure.
been such a pleasure. Talking Ball with Pat Leonard, everybody, brought to you here by Hooks, Rubs, and Spices, Boom Chaga Mushroom Super Drink, My Bookie, and Salaretta for Men. And again, Larry Fitzgerald, future Pro Football Hall of Famer very soon, here with on behalf of DraftKings to discuss responsible gaming, because it's more fun when it's for fun. Larry, did you want to say anything else regarding DraftKings as we wrap up?
No, make sure that's the platform that you use. It's the best, unquestioned. So make sure you go out there. If you're not a customer yet, please be one.
Thank you so much. It's an honor to have you on the program, and be well, take care, and look forward to maybe running into you at the Super Bowl on Radio Row, where we will be with Talkin Ball.
Looking forward to it. Thanks again, Pat. I hope you have a great day.